In Uruguay, computer-related crime history begins with one conviction. Alberto Daniel Hill became the country's first cybersecurity expert wrongfully imprisoned. In 2014, the state targeted Hill after he reported a critical security vulnerability he discovered in a medical provider's system. To manage the fallout, authorities deployed the Protocolo del Silencio. This is a method where an institution uses silence, isolation, and opacity to cover up its own systemic failures by making the individual who found them disappear from the public record. Hill was cut off from the outside world while the prosecution built a criminal case against him. The entire file rested on what his legal team described as 8 gigas de nada, 8 gigabytes of completely empty data. Engineered obscurity functions as a state's primary defense against the truth, rendering a whistleblower invisible long before they ever reach a courtroom. Most hackers respond to government pressure by sinking into the dark web, adopting aliases, and encrypting every trace of their existence. But Alberto Daniel Hill chose to take the exact opposite path. He developed a new philosophy, which he called radical transparency. He informed the system that his fight to clear his name would be slow, painful, and conducted entirely within the bounds of the law. Rather than attempting to breach the servers of those who imprisoned him, Hill decided to weaponize his own unprotected public honesty. This refusal to hide has its origins outside of any digital network. It traces back to an intensive care unit in the city of Durazno, where Hill lay in a near-fatal coma. Medical professionals had already delivered their verdict to his family. The clinical consensus was that he had zero chance of recovery. His mother, Maria Gloria, ignored the professional prognosis. She refused to accept a death sentence delivered by people in positions of authority. She spent every day by his bed. She held his hand and spoke directly into the silence, demanding that her son fight to stay alive. Watching his mother reject an absolute institutional truth became Hill's foundational lesson in how to defy unaccountable power. Hill emerged from that coma with the realization that loving someone and making that love visible is a radical form of honesty. When he was eventually placed in a cell, he viewed his imprisonment as a login to hell, a system designed to strip away his identity. To maintain his sanity, he applied his mother's lesson. He used the memory of that defiant, transparent love as psychological armor against the isolation of his confinement. This evolved into what he calls a log-out to hope. It is the active, daily decision to pull hidden threats and suppressed facts into the open air. By translating the raw honesty of that hospital room into a digital context, Hill transformed a personal survival tactic into a formal philosophy for challenging institutional secrecy. Today, Hill operates under a simple directive: human knowledge belongs to the world. He spends late nights on social audio platforms like Twitter Spaces, discussing technical vulnerabilities and industry insights with anyone who joins the room. These sessions with peers like Aldo Delgado allow experts to bypass the traditional gatekeepers of the information security industry. They build a horizontal network of knowledge that doesn't rely on permission from the top. Every time Hill shares a technical secret or a personal detail of his case, he actively dismantles the walls of isolation the state once built around him. The strength of a digital system isn't found in a better firewall, but in the resilience of an open human network. Hill now channels his philosophy into public art. He converts the data of his trauma into books and electronic music, specifically projects like the Cybersecurity Soul. This constant output provides a tangible record of Hill's recovery, turning years of forced silence into a loud public narrative. It raises a question for anyone operating within a closed system. Where are you letting institutional silence dictate your career or your personal life? Hill's story proves that when a system is designed to keep you quiet, the most effective upgrade you can make is finding the courage to unmute your microphone.